Hey, cunts, don't forget to click the subscribe button. An old mobile home partner of mine from 25 years ago emailed me because he was watching one of the YouTubes, and I obviously mentioned mobile homes, and he said something to the effect, "I thought you told us never to return to the scene of the crime." And I said, "Well, it's not me, it's one of the kids, you know." No. Well, we have a Mexican lawyer out in New Mexico, and we have something, I forget. I don't think he did anything up in near Seattle, Washington, which has turned into a war zone. So he hasn't done very much. The guy in New Mexico has done very well. He said, "This is not working for a living." Plumbing? I haven't seen. I know he closed about a year ago. He closed on a mobile home, I think, right? Well, that may be their hidden desire, but I know the lawyer wants to roll up 40 or 50 and then exit. But he's 30 years older than you. He wants to do it the next 4, 5, 6 years and then exit. Last time he contacted me, he was setting up a fund, and I told him I wasn't interested, but a fund to roll up mobile homes. I guess he didn't do that. And now he's on plumbing. Sells horses. Oh, yeah. Well, if you can't do it, teach. That's the old adage. But I threw him out of the program. Not all. Yeah, I think all the guys that are mini-me's out there, I threw out of the program. And that's when we had a mentor program. All the mini-me's, I threw out of the program. No. I got another email from, this time a Malaysian. They all look alike anyway. "13 practices. During Corona. One of which caught my eye. I was paid $150,000 to take this one. See, you see, the Nazi guy doesn't believe it. He only wants to go and have people pay him to do shit. Right? Okay, last night, Klausy Wowsy. But we're not going to talk about Klaus on YouTube. We're going to do a couple cases first, and then we're going to talk about Klaus, not on YouTube. Any questions about anything else other than Klaus? The process, the system, etc. So you got it down pat now. Good. We still got a couple days to go. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, you're going to get up. Or the what? Do you know what non-disclosure means? Nothing. Well, then don't use the names. I mean, you're a thieving Dutch. You ought to be able to figure this out. Say it's amalgamated, whatever. I only found out a few weeks ago that we do your laundry while you're here. And I was just in the kitchen, which I don't normally go in the morning, and I see they take your orders on a little pad or a little pre-printed. That's what you want me to do for the deals for you. Just like that's exactly what you want.
Okay, so I've got a few deals.
And when he says that, it's like when you're in Manhattan and they roll up their sleeve and they got 9 watches on the wrist. Rolex, Petite, Philippe. Go ahead.
And I started my QLA in healthcare in Holland. And this is one of the cases I got. It's a healthcare assisted living company. It's a holding with 11 private health companies in it and 4 non-profit companies. It's 25 years old. The seller also retired. He tried a management buyout, but it failed.
So he tried to sell it to his management, and it failed.
Yeah, that failed.
Okay.
And
well, that's a big red flag. But anyway, go ahead.
So, 2008, it had 21 million revenue. In 19, 24 million. In 2020, 26 million in revenue. And the net result, bottom line, was 800K in average.
Bottom line, you mean pre-tax?
Yeah,
after tax. Okay.
Yeah. And the EBITDA was 1.7 million, 1.2 million, 1.6 million.
Okay.
So that's around 8% of the revenue, of total revenue. And
okay, stop. I'm going to stop here. Why, with such little EBITDA, were you interested in this other than it's a big deal?
Nothing. So I passed it, especially because I watched 2 other companies same size, and they made a negative EBITDA or between 0.5% and 2% EBITDA. So this company was really outperforming all the other companies in the Netherlands. So this is the case why I decided to get out of this industry and find something else if I wanted to do roll up with a 30% EBITDA ratio.
Okay, stop. The 2 things that are, just for your own edification, that are red flags: number 1, a management buyout that failed, okay? And number 2, it has nonprofit in it, okay? And and it's not easy to take a nonprofit and make it profit. In certain parts of the world, it's impossible because of law and statute, etc. But even when it is possible, it's there's the structure. First of all, people that work for nonprofit, my experience, have been it's hard to hold them accountable. And if the nonprofit has people that are working there that aren't getting paid at all, they're there volunteering their time, it is absolutely 1,000% not possible to hold them accountable. Period. Now, the Red Cross and big national organizations like that pay their executives. And they're still hard to keep them accountable because nobody will go in and bust the balls of the Red Cross. Nobody's going to go in and bust the balls of the Catholic Church. No one is going to go in, etc. And so it's very difficult. So when I tell you to stay away from nonprofits, when was the management buyout failure?
Last year.
Okay, it was recent.
Yeah. And, well, 2 things I wanted to say, because what I found out that in the Netherlands, if you got these kind of companies, you have to publish every detail. The salaries of CEOs are really maxed, and every penny you want to take out, what kind of construction, you have to be fully transparent. So, well, that was also one of the reasons I want to get out. But I'm glad I did it, because if I started it like I started when I was here in the council in February, and I just thought, okay, I'm going to do this. But if I didn't, and I went home and opened a spreadsheet, I will have not started QLA. So I'm very glad. Even this whole industry was not the best. I'm really glad I just pulled the trigger and started.
Okay.
But
good.
so I made a decision. I wanted to change. And okay, what will work in the Netherlands? That was so.
What is that thing?
Oh yeah, a chill ball. Like we're in Holland, we make a chill ball up.
Okay, I got it.
Dutch mentality.
I get it. Okay.
Okay, so this is IT business.
Now, your business before it was.
I switched.
No. But you come from IT.
No.
You come from what?
Construction. And,
That's right. Okay. Okay.
And I even didn't know where IT stand for. So this is also a reason why I picked IT. This is broker deal. The owner wants to sell 100% of shares. It's a company which is active in 3 countries, has 27 full-time employees. A reason for motivation is that they want to go to the next stage. It needs a new owner. That's one of the most common reasons you will read in broker information sheets. So this company has a revenue of 3 million in 2017, 3.8, 3.9 in 2019. After tax, it has 613K, 1.2 million, 1.5 million after tax results, and his EBITDA is around the 36, 32, 38%. So this looks like a good deal to me. But when I turn the page, of those 27 employees, only 4 are on payroll, including the owner. And that was for my board, the red flag to just say.
So how are they getting paid then?
They were on contractors. So, and even like they're on three countries, like the Netherlands and Brazil, and the employee who works in Brazil on his LinkedIn page had also other jobs next to this. So that is why my board wasn't that enthusiastic about it. That was too big a red flag. So what I did, I sent an email to the broker. I said, okay, he has to be really, the seller has to be involved. So if you want to discuss this case any further, I will need to know that 75 to 120% seller finance is an option. Otherwise, I will pass. And I will pass.
Okay. Now, what happened to your first board, your healthcare board?
Yeah.
So I got rid of them and got a new board for IT?
I replaced 4 board members. I got a really IT lawyer next to it, and the industry expert. 3 of them I replaced. No.
Okay. Now, because the Netherlands is a skeptical country. You know, they're just skeptics. They don't believe. So what was your experience building your board? They thought you're a thief, a Dutch Bodo Schaefer, what?
Yeah, and I started with looking like all bank managers, and they're worse. They're so protective, and so I got a lot of reactions like, oh, this is the American way, it does not work, please don't bother me, you're the 5th QLA bot who's bothering me. It's, it was tough, but within a few weeks I got my board, and yeah. So, and even for now, it's like, maybe I change board members too often, like, when I've been down, like, is QLA still working? I will just find a new board member. It's so easy now that within a week I will get a new board member, and then I got my spirits up again. And
okay, and did you primarily use LinkedIn?
Yeah.
And And even in LinkedIn, probably 25% of the people listed in LinkedIn say they're interested in charity nonprofit. Well, that means they're really interested in money, but it's more sophisticated, it's more PC, it's more 21st century to say that you want to do charitable work and nonprofit work. But virtually everybody on LinkedIn, or almost everybody on LinkedIn, is not quite as broke as you. Some may even be more broke than you, but generally speaking, they're not quite as broke as you. Okay, go ahead.
But it is very hard when you got this really big investor and he just says, okay, this does not work. So that was mentally quite challenging in the beginning.
Now, see, after all these years and all the deals, I can handle that objection. We don't teach you how to handle that objection because we know it's better for you to just do numbers. And not because you can't learn all the objections. There's 500 different objections you're going to get, and I know the answer to counter all of them. But for me to teach you to counter all 500, the course would be 500,000 pounds, and it would take 2 years. And so I know from experience that you can get over it with just numbers. Okay, go ahead.
So another deal, IT applications, 15 employees, there's 2 shareholders. They're asking 1.3 million, which is 5 times EBITDA. EBITDA average in 3 years, 255. Of the revenue, 66% comes from web shops and 34% digital distribution platforms, whatever that may be. So if you look at the numbers, revenue last year is 1.4 million, 1.5 million, 1.5 million, and EBITDA of 15%, 17%, and 70%. So this, based on the numbers, didn't have the EBITDA we were really looking for, but asking price five times, so it's within the ballpark, even it's on the edge of it. I didn't go through with this because the revenue in the past 5 years were stable, almost flat. And in one of the lines, because this is also a broker deal, in one of the lines, when they told something about the company, was stated like, employees are really important to us, and almost each time we end up in the bar. And that was for my board members who looked at it, a red flag, like they're beer drinking bums, that this company does not have the spirit, and there are hundreds of these kinds of companies in the Netherlands, and also in this company, the board members had the feeling that the 2 owners were really a very big influence on the company, and the company could not do without them. So I've also sent them the email like, hey, I want to talk, but then you have to know that the LOI will be based on due diligence, board approval, and finance, and I want to be, it has to be an option that 75 to 100 to 25% is seller finance. And they passed on that. So that's it. And but I'm wondering, like, based on the numbers, it's maybe okay. And my board members look very quickly to more the content of the company. Is that the thing the board members are for, like, to help me with that? Or
yeah, but I mean, but before you drop an LOI and telling them it's going to be up to 125% seller finance, I mean, did you talk to them about that before you set the LOI?
No.
Well, that's not how you discussed it with them pre-corona in person. Now, Zoom, Skype, and you're talking through, and if you recall the way Thomas's webinar, and he walks him through it like selling an insurance policy, and that's okay for you, and seller finance, and the wife says yes. But then when you just drop an LOI out of the blue like that, 99% of the time they're going to say no. They're going to say no. I mean, it's too much shock value. It's where we want to go, but I mean, these things have to be talked to. The other question I have about all these, how come we don't have any 2020 numbers? These are all 2019, right?
2020. This is for this year.
Okay, well, what were the one before? Was it 2020 or 2019?
Let me see. 19.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And if the one that has 2020 numbers, what numbers did you use in 2020?
Part of projections.
Okay, well, and I put it social media, all the meatheads out there. Okay, when it was June, July, I said you've got to have the April through July numbers, and then you annualize them. Mm-hmm. Then when it was August, September, you had to use April through September numbers, and then annualize them. And then now it's November, it was April through November numbers, and then you annualize them. And the people that gave you, well, it's always going to come back. The pat answer from the seller is, well, you're picking it at the worst time. Well, then why? Then pull it off the market if you don't want to fucking sell it during the worst time. Of course, you don't want them to pull it off the market because you don't have 15, 20, 30 people that are waiting to sell to you. So, and this all takes time. And you can't get back time. You have to be harsh. Now that the year end is here, and you'll be talking to people in the next few days, but probably not till the first of the year, you want April through December numbers. Well, we haven't closed the books on December, we'll find April through November numbers and annualize them. And with rare exception, 5% of the businesses will have been able to hold their own. 5% of the businesses might have even, if they're in healthcare, like in telemedicine, etc., like one of my deals is in telemedicine, actually went up. But for the most part, these businesses are worth between 25 and 50% less than they were a year ago. 25 and 50. And that's before the second corona wave, which is going to last, I don't know till when. You can't possibly be buying businesses today based on numbers from 2019. You can't. Oh, you can if you're stupid. But if they acquiesce too easily, it's because you're not basing it on the right numbers. They should fight and scream. If you're not being told the numbers will get better, it's because you're basing your offer price on shit. And it doesn't matter if they get better. And we've closed, and I haven't even read them to you in the last 4 or 5 months, I don't know, 50, 80 deals that aren't going to pan out. Meaning they're not going to work. Because they will not be able to, they're not going to go back to the numbers of 2019, 2018. And the bank doesn't care. Why? They've got your personal guarantee. And for those real stupid ones, they have cross-collateralization on your house. And for the real stupid ones, you put in money. Even though the bank doesn't want to go into the IT business or the bank doesn't want to go into the assisted living business, remember, they're looking for 3 sources of a refund. And they have all the box, just like you check for breakfast, you want scrambled eggs, you want toasted, they have all 3 of the boxes checked. They have little or no risk. For the bank, it's a riskless transaction. Now, I'm not saying that the seller's got to cry every time, but unless not physically cry, sometimes they do cry. If the seller is not moaning, then you did something wrong. And it gets back to, there are no win-wins. That's all horseshit. Okay, go ahead.
So the last deal, it's also a software company. And let's see, the seller, it has 3 owners, 15% owned by a management team, and the other part is 50-50 divided by the founder and the stakeholder or shareholder. It has averaged 3 years turnover of 1.3 million, and normalized EBITDA in that period is 44%.
What do you mean by normalized?
I don't know, my accountant
okay.
said normalized EBITDA.
Yeah.
They correct.
My normalized dick size is really 10 3/4 inch, but real it's only 3. Am I normalized?
So it's 44%, 600K EBITDA. It's through a broker, and what the company lacks of is a strategic sales plan. And a few of my board members are really experienced in that, and they know a lot about this specific industry and software. And my board members see a lot of upward potential. Next stage is to go to LOI stage. I would like to get an LOI on 3 to 6 times the EBITDA, due diligence, bank, board approval, and finance. They already said seller finance is possible, so that's one thing I check now.
The best thing that he's presented of these deals is he's interfacing with the board. The board obviously knows you know nothing about IT.
Yeah.
And that's a big, I know, I keep saying it, and you keep looking at me, but that's a big hurdle for you to get over. I don't know dick. You'll say it much more flowery, in a flowered manner, and then they roll their sleeves up if they're good. These guys sound like they're good. Roll their sleeves up and they dig in and help you. But if you don't say that, you're just, you're pissing in the wind. And it's hard. I know it's hard. And when I was quite flamboyant about it back many decades ago that I don't know anything. I used to tell the banks I told, I don't have enough knowledge vis-a-vis the oil and gas industry to put on the head of this pen. This is to the banks I'm getting money from. But I got the father of the North Sea. I got the former governor of New York that saved New York City and New York State from bankruptcy. I got the former CFO. And they do know. And that's, some of you have enough knowledge to be dangerous in some of these areas that you're going into. Now he knows more about, slightly more about IT now, after going through 3 or 4 deals, but he still doesn't know anything. But the board members, and so that's good, that's terrific. And the board members will protect you if you pick the right ones. And if you pick the wrong ones, then you get rid of them. So, okay, it's been not that I want you to go through learning experiences. I want you to do deals. But I mean, if the deals don't come to fruition, the worst case scenario is you got to learn something from it. And the takeaway for me is the fact that he used these guys and they performed. They've gotten back to him and told him, and that's good. In some cases, I won't say most cases, but in some cases, the board thinks that they got free founders equity for nothing, and they're not going to have to do anything. That's the worst case scenario. And their way of telling you that, they're signaling you that, or giving you that message is either late response or no response to your request, and then you throw them out.
That's completely true, but to be honest,
thank you very much. I needed that validation. I feel much better now in the holiday spirit that he agreed with me.
But the pitfall is that I totally rely on them, and I got sometimes the feeling like they tell me we have to look more for a platform kind of first deal, or they are too way into it.
Oh yeah. So, platform is everybody's comeback in IT. Amazon platform, all these platforms. But you don't need a platform. All you need is a fucking deal. As Lou Gessner, who when he took over IBM 25 years ago, turned it around from bankruptcy, said when they were talking about strategies, the last fucking thing we need is a new strategy. IBM had been around about 80 years by that time. The last fucking thing is we need a new strategy. What we need is sales. Gessner was a top-line sales guy. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, YouTube, goodbye.